In this series, we tend to cover a lot of different styles of art and media, some that you likely have never heard of, but odds are you probably heard of the magical girl style. It's a genre aesthetic that has the same impact, in my opinion, as when you give a protagonist a defining hair color so you know which one's the protagonist, but done so artfully. On this episode of Decoded, we'll take a look at the aesthetic to break down what it actually is that makes this aesthetic so freaking charming and such a mainstay of anime culture. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to us to know that you enjoy the content we're making. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. The magical girl aesthetic comes from a genre of anime that can be traced back as far as the 1960s, which is also referred to as Mahou Shoujo. The first magical girl story came from the manga Himitsu no Ako-chan, but became widely popularized by animes like Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura. Here are a few key elements that tend to be universal in most magical girl anime. First up, color-coded costumes. First, characters tend to feature a very unique color-coded outfits. Usually it tends to look a little bit like Power Rangers, where each character has their own set color, and the team is just a localized rainbow. Secondly, there has to be a cool transformation. This isn't necessary, but at the same time, it's probably the first thing most people think of when they think about magical girls. Lastly, as the name implies, there's usually a cast of girls that act as the main character. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be girls. They could be boys, non-binary, gender non-conforming, etc. And sometimes, animes like Saint Seiya captures the exact same spirit of what makes a magical girl story, but with an all-boys cast. And at a certain point, shonen and Mahou Shoujo actually start sharing quite a bit of similarities. Examples of magical girl animes include Sailor Moon, Winx Club, my favorite, literally if you asked little child me about Winx Club, I would never shut up. Beam Puppy Cat, Cardcaptor Sakura, and Puella Magi Madoka Magica. These are just, once again, some examples. If I've missed your favorite, let me know in the comments, but with every episode of Decoded, there's a possibility for expand upon it in a later date. If I haven't made it clear earlier, color coordination is a must. A lot of magical girl media tends to like pink and pastel colors with some gold sprinkled in. It would be hard to make a defined color palette since a lot of them are so different. But if we do a future episode on a magical girl story, I'll be sure to link it in this video. Use of stars, sparkle, and light glares tend to also be a must, especially when talking about transformation. But we'll talk more about that when we get there. Animal companions, oh my goodness. Not every magical girl one has it, but I love them. I love them. I argue that they're as much as a supporting character as the rest of the cast, and honestly, it just pieces it together, the cutesy aesthetic with like a familiar. When talking about audio, you will for sure hear some type of sparkling to twinkling sound effect, whether it be transforming, the girl's doing something, a new friend, etc. Transformation, I feel like, defines the genre. And I have a couple examples that I'm going to share so I can really break them down. First off, I'm going to start with Winx Club, specifically Flora's magic wings transformation. This will differ from Japanese style magical girl because this is a French cartoon, but still in the magical girl genre. First off, we get some bumping, lively music for both that match the characters' vibes and like personality. We see parts of the outfit come together in a way that is kind of shows that they're magic. What I like about transformations, it kind of cements that this is magic and it's not a superhero or like a mech, you can see that it is magical. Like, things are appearing, growing. Out of the ones I watch, I see a pattern of that they announce their names as well, especially in the Sailor Moon girls transformations. They're like, if they don't say their names, it's more like or, which I think is cute, and it's almost like they're dancing into their clothes. Sailor Neptune, hers has also, once again, the color defines power. Neptune has like crashing of water and waves, and her whole outfit seems to melt upon her body in such a beautiful, it's almost like a dance. She's doing a dance with her magic to bring out her costume, or in this case, her outfit. It's beautifully done. I will say the Sailor Moon girls, the Sailor Scouts, have some of my favorite transformations ever, just because they're like cinematic. I feel like I could watch them for hours and not get tired. Okay, magical girl fashion. This is kind of near and dear to my heart because I went to school for costuming, so like dissecting outfits like these, love it, love it. Let's get into it. The Sailor Scouts, they have what I'd like to say is a Japanese schoolgirl outfit reimagined, because their skirts, though short, give me more like a gymnast or a dancer type, and they can fight in it, and they still have like Spanx or something under it, so there's modesty intact. It's almost like they're wearing a bodysuit and the skirt itself is like an accessory to it. Definitely the gloves are cute. They all have heels, but they're not like stilettos, so I could see someone being able to fight in them. So this is a very cutesy, but like age, it goes with their age because they're supposed to be in high school. It's cutesy, it has the gold, everyone has a defined color palette, but what I like about the Sailor Scouts is they have a defining color and then a secondary color to their outfit that kind of brings it together. Like Sailor Moon, she is red and blue. Sailor Jupiter is pink and green, and so on. And they're letting the style of their hair and their shoes define it more. So you can play around with that. If you don't want to go completely monochromatic, try what the Sailor Scouts did. And if you don't want to go cutesy, once again, they're a great example of like mixing and matching to still make something cute, but a little more like practical, if you will. Okay, I'm gonna look at Madoka's costume. It's cute. It's really cute. It fits where her age range is. I could see someone fighting in it. Those are little like Mary Janes, and the knee-high socks. The poofy skirt is so cute. It, once again, movable. Able to do what you need to do. The cute pinks and bows and the flower detail on top of the poofy tutu type thing. Little cute cap puff sleeves. Her hair is in little twin tails with bows. It's all pink. Some gloves. And what I want to break this down to is, actually there is something I will link below on what I found for I like this. It's Magical Girl Fashion, the 3 basic rules. Once again, I will link down below. Rule 1, the outfit must look appropriate to the user's body and vice versa. So what I was emphasizing with, it matches what they're trying to portray. So some of these magical girls are like elementary, middle schoolers, but the Sailor Scouts are high schoolers. The high schoolers aren't in like cutesy, like childlike outfits. They have something that fits what would be the style of a teenager. Rule 2, the aesthetic of the outfit must be concise. They're not all over the place. They're very much, this is what an outfit will look like, and it doesn't differ that much. You know which one's a magical girl, you know which one's a villain. And rule number 3, the outfit must look comfortable to move and fight with, appropriate to the user's combat style. That's why I made such a big deal that this is all stuff that they can move in and enjoy. And another thing I want to add, what it boils down to, besides these roles, is dresses, skirts, shorts, pastels, monochromatic, gold, sparkling, just very fun, feminine outfits that have a little bit of whimsy and magic to them. The mundane versus the supernatural. One concept that seems to come up a lot in magical girl media that I will probably use a few times is the idea of the mundane versus supernatural. In many magical girl stories, the main characters usually live normal lives, usually as students, which makes the life of being a magical girl a complete 180 from a normal life. This contrast helps bring out the wow factor of the magical girl experience, giving the audience a gauge of how far away from normality things can get. Coming of age stories are also a very major theme in a lot of magical girl stories. Learning to grow up and adapt to new challenges in the world is a part of the reason why the normal parts of these stories are kept from being boring, but it's also a little bit more than that. Much like the story of Spider-Man or many other main characters that live a double life, just growing up and learning to live life generally adds a lot of more depth and relatability to the characters and keeps it from being a story about a perfect and powerful people who just save the world and call it a day. And once again, I love the contrast of the mundane versus the supernatural, because they have these magical powers, but that can't help them go through puberty, breakups, loss of friends, bullies. Though the magical powers can help save the world, but it's not going to help them develop. And I love to see that though these are characters that are somewhat invincible when it comes to like fighting, they still have their humbling weak spots. But of course, saving the world with super awesome powers is for sure a very cool part of these stories. Let's not discredit that much. In anime like Madoka Magica, they are fighting. Oh my goodness, they are fighting. And honestly, I'd put Sailor Moon as a character that could beat Goku. Please fight me on this. Please fight about this in the comics section. I'm not gonna budge. And it's part of the reason why I said after a certain point, magical girl anime and shonen actually start becoming fairly similar. Another thing I will say about the vibe of the magical girl aesthetic is that there's a reason why I keep saying main characters, plural. Magical girls rarely ride alone. Let's go look at Sailor Moon. They got 5. That's literally a handful. And sometimes the friendship is what amplifies their magic. Like in Winx, their powers progress from like helping and saving their friends. And the Sailor Scouts all become friends with so many other Sailor Scouts. Being a magical girl, for the most part, is not a lonely job. It doesn't have to be. You've probably been hearing me the whole time, I love this genre because growing up AFAB and turning on like Winx Club or watching any of these magical girl shows, I felt empowered. I felt that it wasn't a bad thing to be feminine, that it actually could be a strength. Like showing that someone's in a cute, soft, gentle, feminine aesthetic and kicking absolute hiney is something that we need. Like, we are not less for liking what we like. People don't have to give up cutesy aesthetics to be someone that saves the world, and I really enjoy that. And I feel that strength and femininity is not just good for people, for girls. It's also good for anyone that embraces their feminine side, whether that be boys, gender non-conforming, non-binary. We can all benefit from the portrayal of femininity as something to be reckoned with, something to be proud of, that it is strong. To say the impact of these animes were influential would almost be an understatement. As the popularity of magical girl anime increases, so does the role gender norms in media. As the popularity of magical girl anime increases, so does the role of gender norms in media, as promoted in more popular ways to show female protagonists as strong and powerful world-saving characters, which is a role that has been very male-dominated. And once again, we can all learn from the magical girls of not sacrificing who you are and what makes you feel like you and still can make a difference in this world, that's a lesson for every age. I'm Kilo, and if you like this video, like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.